I usually drive there with, every pot and pan and tray and blender that I have, stuff the whole car full of as much equipment as I can and drive there and get it done. So I do like those challenges, and when I do those jobs, I get to meet lots of great people. So I've got lots of friends all over the countryside from doing those sorts of things.
It's Radio Woodfordia, and I'm your host, Harley Breen. Mostly, I remember my name. This guest, I got a little bit of fandom on him because he first came into our homes through the show Ready Steady Cook, and for anybody else who was unemployed in the 90s, you frothed over it. Team Red, Matt Golinski. He hates the term celebrity chef, but I definitely call him that because he's famous for how he treats food and what he does with it. He doesn't just cook beautiful food, he really cares about where it's grown, who grows it, what the story is behind that food. And I couldn't help but be infected by his passion. I think you'll enjoy this chat with a true Woodford tragic. That's his connection here. He's been coming since it was Mullaney. He comes every year, he loves it, and he's got good things to say. Also, little sound thing here. There's a fun game. See if you can count how many times the rooster crows. Matt's surrounded by nature and he's surrounded by animals, and they let us know that they were there. We had some dogs yapping early on. That might have got cut out, but there is no way we can get rid of the rooster. You see how many counts you get. There's a little bit of a breeze at one point as well. Yeah, it's the joy of recording things. The story still comes out. All right, so there you go.
G'day, Matt. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, really good. Now, I don't have you in person here. I'm here on the side of the Woodford Folk Festival, or in the Eastern Block, in the Pumpkin House.
If you like.
And
Yep.
you are... And where are you?
I'm in Kin, Sunshine Coast.
I
Sort
know
of.
it well.
We like to call it Noosa West. It's better for property values. Yeah,
Mate, over the years, because I grew up just a little bit further north, up in the Wide Bay, and it's been funny over the years to watch how many things are now referred to as Noosa. I'm like, that's not Noosa.
Yeah, well, we're in the Shire anyway, so yeah, we probably just pay higher rates or something. But yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And have you been in that region most of your life?
Look, I grew up in Palmwoods actually. Went to Nambour High School, and then I've lived all over the coast, but lived in Pomona for 9 years. And then we were looking for something a little bit more land, and so we wound up on 14 acres out here in Kin. It's covered in beautiful, big, established fruit trees, and we seem to have an ever-increasing amount of animals showing up. And that's not my fault. That's Erin's addiction to taking in strays, basically. So we've currently got 2 pigs, 3 horses, 3 dogs, various ducks, chickens, doves, a couple of guinea pigs, 1 lone guinea fowl that's left now after the other 4 have been taken by foxes over the years or whatever. But beautiful, great part of the world, and it's beautiful and lush and green and rains a lot.
That's excellent. I love that list of animals, that combination. Like a sunny coast number. And you went to Nambour High. You might be in the wrong age bracket here, but I was just going to talk about it, mate. Do you know Dan Anstey went to Nambour High? Do you know?
Oh, is that right? No, I don't actually. No.
Well,
I was.
He's a radio guy, but also he's very proud Nambour ambassador, and also the number 1 ticket holder for Lions. So.
Oh, is that right? Really? There you go. Yes. Well, we used to. I was in the age bracket where a couple of the boys from Powderfinger went to Nambour High. They were a couple of years above me. So, yeah. Oh, geez, it's produced some talent. I tell you what, Kevin Rudd, Wayne Swan.
What a list of rock stars!
Yes, I'll say.
Told me about.
Yeah, but no, it was.
And of course, not to mention yourself, because you as I heard one celebrity chef once refer to chefs are the new rock stars. I think it was George Columbaris. I was like, get your hand off it. No, you're not.
Yeah, mate.
You just, you should.
You just a dirty old cook, mate.
But you
Get
are.
back to work.
But you are. That's certainly how I was made aware of who you are, is as a celebrity chef. How do you feel about that term, celebrity chef?
I don't like it at all. Please don't call me that. But yeah, look, I
I'll cut it out.
look at no, that's okay. It's become a thing, and to me, it's just like it's a bit dumb. I think it's one of those things that just kind of, the only reason that I'd be called a celebrity chef is because once upon a time I was on TV. I did Ready Steady Cook for 9 or 10 years, and when we
I know,
started
mate.
doing that.
I watched all the time.
When we started doing that, there was no such word as celebrity chef. We were just chefs working in restaurants, around Australia, and they rang us and went, "We're doing this show. Do you want to be on it?" And so, we passed the audition, and then all of a sudden, we were freaking out being on TV. So, to me, I'm still a cook. I still cook every day. I'm just come down from the kitchen. I'm doing a dinner for 120 people on Saturday night. So, I'm like to consider myself a chef first, and once upon a time I was on telly. That's why people know me, I suppose. But yeah, it is a
Yeah,
bit dumb. You don't have a celebrity plumber or a celebrity carpenter. No, I suppose you do have celebrity
yeah,
carpenters to a degree. Yeah,
yeah. You
but
do too.
yeah, but yeah. Look, I think it's sort of most of the actual celebrity chefs out there don't really cook very much anymore, but I do every day.
Yeah, there's a great passion in you about that too. I loved reading some of the details about you and some of the stuff that I've seen of you in the past. In that it's your connection with food is actually connection with community.
Yeah, very much
They're
so.
sort of integral with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and I consider all the people that to me now, cooking is not worth doing if I don't know where the ingredients that I'm buying have come from. So to me, it's like, to be able to be a memorable meal, you need to be able to tell a decent story about why you've put that meal together. And so, to me, so the thing I'm doing on Saturday night is actually for a guy who's been a champion of local producers on the Sunshine Coast. And so it's his 80th birthday party, and I've gone around and picked up all the ingredients from all the different producers that he's helped over in the Sunshine Coast, and that's his birthday dinner. So for me, that's an opportunity not just to support the producers, but also for me to catch up with all those people and have a chat. Went and picked up tomatoes from Doonan yesterday, and went and picked up pork bellies from the guy that was eggs and the pork bellies from Dino, who was driving past to do deliveries to Brisbane. Met him on the highway, pick up those. Have a rave about what's going on, how the farm's going. So to me, that connection and supporting all those people, it's kind of a selfish act. The more that those people survive and thrive, the longer that I get to use those awesome ingredients in what I cook. So so it's worth me
Yeah, and
supporting them.
yeah, because we've lost a connection with food that we used to have a real deep connection with, and I think that when we lose that connection of who's growing our food and who's making it, then it's easier to throw it in the bin, and we have such a
Yeah,
food waste problem.
absolutely. Yeah, it is, and that's one of the things I always say about about knowing when your food comes from. Visiting a farm and seeing how things are done, it gives you a completely different respect for the amount of work that goes into growing that broccoli, or that those tomatoes, or those eggs, or that cow, or whatever it happens to be. And it really changes your attitude towards that wastage, which is so just horrible.
Yeah, and I think because you're the other side of the industry that you're involved in, I think has actually been a little bit complicit in part of that, where you look at the trends. I just don't think there should ever be a trend in food,
No.
but the trends will change what people get, and then how the cost of things. Lamb shanks were peasant food, and now
Yeah,
it's super expensive because they put it on, that show that I'm not going to name,
Yeah.
uh, where they've, and they're cooking only that.
Yep.
That can be a bit of a problem. I don't want chefs to not be on the television, by the way. I love watching it. I learn from it,
Yeah.
but there needs to be a bit more of a balance, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's very true. And that first year of that show, I'm sure you couldn't buy yourself a pasta machine for about 12 months for love or money. And I'm sure there's you know, there's probably 50,000 pasta machines sitting in the back of a cupboard in people's houses right now that have been used once. Uh, they've had their pasta disaster and moved on. So yeah, it is a bit like that. I'm the same. I hate people go, oh yeah, want to talk to me about food trends or whatever. I don't know. I don't keep up with that sort of thing. I'm not interested. What I cook and how I create is based on what is available to me. You know, at the time people want a menu from me 3 months out, and I say no, that's not how it works. I'll give you a menu a week before because I want to be able to look at what's in season and work with that. And so yeah, and
Yeah.
then I'm excited about it. That's the creativity and the thing that keeps me actually inspired to keep doing it. I've been doing it for 35 years or something now, so it's most chefs by this stage have decided to go and do something else, but I still love doing it every day.
And what brought that on? Or from the start, were you passionate about food from this idea of cooking it the way that you do, or
Yep.
was there a shift in how you were doing things, and now this is how you want to produce food?
No, I think I've always been interested in that. I've always understood, kind of as an apprentice, I was kind of inspired. I worked with some really good, not famous, but really good chefs who had that same passion and taught me about the fact that respect for your ingredients is the most important thing, and procuring, gathering the best ingredients, understanding what a good ingredient is. And so to me, that's always been the focus of what I do. I grew up on a farm in Palmwoods. It was like a tropical fruit farm, so it was, pawpaws and avocados and mangoes and bananas, and there was always small crops. There was always tomatoes or zucchinis or whatever. And so I saw I know what the best size zucchini is, exactly this like the perfect size. I know, a good pawpaw from a bad one. And so, to me, that was sort of the starting point, and I decided from a really early age that that's what I wanted to do. By the time I hit high school at Namble High, I was in got to grade 8. And it's like, right, you get to do cooking, yay! And then they made me do 6 months of sewing first, unfortunately, which I absolutely hated. That was painful. But then I got to grade 9, I got to choose all my subjects too. And I was so dead set, that that's what I was going to do. I did, all through high school. I did food hospitality and catering. I did, French. I learned French for 5 years. I did art. I did biology. That was my focus. So it's like completely, I'm going to be a chef. What subjects can I choose that are going to potentially help me with, with getting there, in a roundabout sort of
Yeah.
way.
And so
French
you,
hasn't helped me a great deal.
so you, well, I could have. I mean, if you learned
Yeah,
French and then got to go over there into that
yeah.
industry. But I'm interested. Were your family not involved in hospitality? So this wasn't something that you took on the family trade.
No, not at all. No, I didn't sit on Nonna's knee making gnocchi or anything like that. I was pretty much on my own. I spend weekends in the kitchen on the farm, baking cakes or learning how to make bread or teaching myself different things. And that was I love doing that, and Mum and Dad encouraged me to do that. Um, and so yeah, it was pretty much just me teaching myself.
Yeah, well, it's a bloody hard industry. That's where I started in hospitality. Anyone in live entertainment or entertainment of any kind usually has a connection with hospitality. I
Yeah,
did a lot of
yeah,
making coffee, pouring beers, serving tables, cleaning
yep,
dishes. Got a
yeah,
kitchen hand. I
absolutely.
almost started my own, but it's a hard industry. It's struggling hard at the moment
Oh
as well. But
yeah,
have you seen a shift in it from the started to where it is now that there's more people wanting what you're doing?
yeah. Look, I think it is a tough business. It's hard to make money from it. everything's become expensive, whether it's labor or ingredients or utilities or whatever it is. I'm lucky enough that I've kind of built myself as a business where I'm the only employee. Because I'm a bit too grumpy to work with anybody else now. So, like, if I'm doing a job, then I'm doing everything myself. So if you're having me come and cook for you, then I'm doing, I'm peeling the potatoes and I'm chopping the onions and I'm scrubbing the dishes and I'm doing everything and I'm happy with that.
Wow.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
That's a
yeah, so that's me, but I also get to control. I also get to, because my overheads are low. I've got no wages. I've got nothing else. I'm able to do things at a price point that's affordable for people to have something that's really, hopefully really special. Because I'm gathering all these ingredients, and they tend to be at a premium price as well. I'm paying a lot more money for, twice as much for pork
of course,
bellies
yeah.
as what I could be getting them for. Yeah, so to me, I kind of keep the industry a little bit at an arm's length. I'm still very much involved in part of it, but it's, I'm not in that restaurant scene and worrying about, how I'm going to pay the rent or anything like that anymore.
Well, it's good to hear. I wanted to pick up on something you said then, and then get into some more of the advocacy stuff and the talks that you do around this
Mm.
sort of thing. But you just referred to yourself as you're too grumpy to work with others. There is a cliche about chefs, that they are angry, and I just want to say from lived experience, some of you, oh boy, do you know that about? Chefs, you have to know about it. And obviously, there's the famous one of Gordon Ramsay, which I think was
Yeah,
more performance than it was
yeah,
real.
absolutely.
But it's a tense environment, the kitchen. Like, do
Yeah,
we need to do we need to check in on the chefs? Are they all right?
I think they're okay. It's changed a lot these days. In the old days, you would, the business itself has changed a lot in the fact that you, when I was an apprentice, you worked 60 to 80 hours a week. You got paid for 38. You shut up and just did it because you were doing it to become a good chef, and you did it for love, and you wanted to produce good food and all those sorts of things. There was no such thing as overtime. Usually, your employer didn't end up paying you superannuation, so end up with bugger all superannuation for the first 20 years, all those sorts of things. So I think the angry chef thing has kind of, I always say to young kids, if they're going into a kitchen, looking for a job, if you're in a kind of an angry environment, if the chef's psycho, then just leave. You don't need to put yourself through that. You know, there's plenty of jobs out there, and those sort of people, those sort of chefs, are the sort of, and I always think, if you can't handle stress in a kitchen, then you should go and get yourself a different job, because and I'm very calm in a kitchen. I don't allow screaming and yelling and being mean to people. I don't think that's a very nice environment for anyone to be in, and you don't get the best out of anyone in that situation. And when I do arc up on the odd occasion, people know I'm serious. Then they go, "Oh, okay, we better concentrate." Matt's
Yes, chef.
a bit cross. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
chef.
But
Yeah.
in general, I'm pretty calm, and I like it that way. I don't think there's any. And the thing is, these days as well, if you're a chef these days, you don't, if you work 15 minutes overtime, you get paid for it, because everyone's too afraid of getting sued by you know by every employer is too afraid to do that to anyone anymore, because their businesses get raked over the coals and the media gets straight onto it, and you're all of a sudden the evil of the world sort of thing. Um, so there's not that old work 80 hours a week and
Stuff.
shut the hell up anymore. And there's not, you yell at somebody these days and make them cry, they're straight to HR, or, you know, needing a mental health day. So it's a good idea to
Yeah.
be kind and be nice and create an environment where people, I want to create, if I'm working with other people, I want to create an environment where they are actually excited to come to work instead of fearing it.
Yeah. I think that's a good attitude for every job out there. And I just wanted to say, in terms of chefs getting paid overtime if they work 15 minutes longer, shout out to the labour movement. Well done.
Yeah,
Because
right on.
we get paid for it. But then, so what started your connection with the Woodford Folk Festival and coming here, and
Okay.
being obsessed with?
Well, I was when I was a teenager. I was probably 15 or 16. Me and my mate started a band. This is at Nambour High School. There's the rooster. Time to wake up. Um, me and
It's
my mate
really good.
started.
Leave it in.
Me and my mate started a band in at Nambour High, and we were called the First Offenders, and we used to hire the Woombye Hall. It's good, isn't it? We
Yeah,
used to
it's
hire the
really good.
Mumbai Hall and put on gigs and all that sort of thing. Anyway, we were kind of a bunch of rough little hippie kids, and one of my mates' parents were kind of very heavily involved in the very start of the festival when it was in Mullaney, and so yeah, the very first ones that I went to were probably the first two or three, I think,
Wow.
at Mullaney. And we were we were just feral. We used to busk to survive on the on the alleys of Woodford of Mullaney Festival, and walk into town and buy home brand baked beans and uh, and live on those for the
Wow.
week.
How you've
We
changed.
Yeah, I know. I remember me and my mate the first year we went to Franklin's in Nambour and we bought a $20 tent, and we rocked up to Mullaney and set it up. And the first night it just fell down and was unrepairable. So each night we'd just open the zip and just crawl into it um, and sleep in that. And so yeah, we've grown a little bit since then. But yeah, that was sort of my introduction to that that world of. And it was magical, that seeing some of those bands that we saw at the time, as young kids, wanting to play music, wanting to be in bands, was an inspiration for us. And I love that feeling of going there, and I've been to almost every festival at Woodford since it's been happening there as well. So it's one of those
Wow.
things I look forward to it every single year. And I think the thing that I love most about it is that it's my week of the year where I don't answer the phone, I don't get any emails from anyone, I don't care about any of that. I just like people know that that's where I am. I'm at Woodford, and no one can touch me. And I go there, and it's like a feeling of you've had all this stress and people harassing you all year, and you go there and you're like, oh, actually, there's some really good people in the world. The world's not such a bad place, and you come home with that feeling from Woodford of like, oh, okay, well maybe the world's not so bad after all. When you're hanging out with all those
Yeah.
good people for a whole week, it starts to rub off on everybody, which is probably the thing I love most about going there.
Yeah, it fills up the tanks very
Yeah, it
much.
does, really,
And
very much so.
do you cook here? Have you ever cooked for other people with it?
Yeah,
Produced food here?
Yeah, I did a lot with the planting when that was happening, and then I've done a couple of years there where I think I did a New Year's Eve when they had the Scotland connection going on one year. This is probably going back about maybe 6 years, I suppose, maybe longer. It was a New Year's Eve feast, Scottish feast, um, that I cooked for there in the what used to be called the Duck. I think it's called the Halcyon now. Um,
It's the duck,
and
mate. It's the duck.
it is the duck, isn't it? It's always the duck for me.
Well,
Um,
yeah, it's always the duck.
um, and so yeah, I've done a couple of those, and I've done some, a bit of catering for the, the VIP tent and all that sort of stuff occasionally for media and that sort of thing. But I've sort of decided like I don't really want to do it anymore. It kind of ruins my whole week of going there to
Ruins your
relax,
week. Yeah.
worrying about oh, I've got to be here, I've got to get into the kitchen there when there's no one else there and do the prep, and then do the dinner. And it's usually the equipment's not bad there, but it's a hard thing to do. And it also it's like, yeah, I'd rather just pay the money to go to Woodford and enjoy myself and relax. I get to catch up with friends, I get to see loads and loads of music, and that's why I'm going there. So I kind of had decided to not push the idea that I could go there and cook if they want me to. It's like I'd rather not chase that thing. But I do love being a part of it, and
Sure.
being involved.
Well, I think you've certainly put in years of service, and you're well within your rights to take a back seat and just be a punter. But cooking for people en masse, that's a challenge anyway. Like I've never done. I love to cook. It's my happy place as well. I've never
Oh, nice.
turned it into a profession. I've never been paid for it, but I love to do it. And on occasion, I've had some bigger parties that I've been involved in, had to cook, and it's such a challenge. Do you like? Would you rather just cook for a small group of family and friends than to be cooking for those people en masse? Because it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, no, I love the challenge of it. I do. I tend to do a lot of stuff where I find myself in these situations. I go, "Well, how the hell did I get here?" But I was this year. I've been to Roma. I go to Roma each year and do a dinner there for 300 people. And I
Wow.
do. I've just been out to
And you're
Winton
doing
and
that on your
done.
own, mate.
Yeah, on
For
my own
300 on
usually,
your own.
and with whatever people I can rope in when I get there. Basically, a lot of people are often keen to just do it for the experience or the help to help out. But yeah, I'm happy. I can do all the legwork, the organising. I'll work my butt off for 20 hours a day. I don't care to get it done. But yeah, no, there's no brigade of chefs I take with me or anything. It's just me. And I usually drive there with every pot and pan and tray and blender that I have, stuff the whole car full of as much equipment as I can, and drive there and get it done. So I do like those challenges, and I get to when I do those jobs, I get to meet lots of great people. So I've got lots of friends all over the countryside from doing those sorts of things.
Yeah, I bet you do. And I suppose I've got to ask the expert, what do you think about the offerings of food at Woodford Folk Festival?
Okay. Yeah, it's really good. We've for many years, I you know, I've been that person that shows up on Christmas Eve, in the car with the all the gear and all the food to, enough food to probably feed about 20 people for 3 weeks. Um, and, sit in line in the car on Christmas Eve and wait for Christmas Day and have Christmas breakfast beside the car in the car park. And then, get in at, I'm usually car 120 or something like that, get in because I've got my favorite camping spot that I've been going to forever. And then you hope that you're going to get that one. And so, do all that. And then you get there and you eat the leftover Christmas ham and the prawns that you brought and a bit of cheese. And then the rest of the food, you just leave it in the esky until it gets completely drowned by wet ice, or, throw it in the bin, or,
Totally.
the rotten fruit, starts to ferment in the back of the car or
You're
whatever.
like, why did I bring
Um,
2 kilos
yeah,
of apples?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then what we've discovered is that it's actually more economical and far more practical to just eat in the festival. We've got two little kids as well, 4-year-old and an 8-year-old. So sure, you bring some milk and some cereal, whatever, to get you through brekkie. But most of the time now, it's we kind of just go, well, let's just go in and you know get breakfast in there, and then have lunch in there, and then have dinner in there, and then we're not wasting time, cooking and then cleaning stuff up, and so yeah, very much rely on the food stalls of Woodfordia to keep us alive for those 7 days.
Mm.
But yeah, look, and the thing I love about it is it's very varied, the offerings there. So you kind of got you wouldn't have to eat the same thing twice if you didn't want to. I eat about my body weight in pizza loca pizza um,
Yeah.
during a festival. That's a really good, it's quick and it's easy. You're walking past, you've just had, 6 schooners of Cooper's pale ale, and you suddenly realize you haven't eaten for a few hours, and yeah, one of those
Yeah.
pizza loca slices gets you through. But yeah, that there's lots of variation there. Lots of good Asian stuff as well now. Lots of good, Indian and also Middle Eastern stuff. So I love, I live on a lot of the time on falafel rolls.
Yes.
Um, that's good food.
What, what
Feels
a
like it's.
what, Also, what an endorsement from Matt Golinski to Pizza Logo.
Yeah. Well, they've been
A
there as
snooze
long as
fest.
I have.
Sell out this year.
So that stall has been there since Mulaney. And so, we've got some history, me and that stall. And it never changes. It's reliable as. If you've never had it before, you'd probably think this is crap. This is quite boring, this pizza. But to me, it's like just the perfect thing late at night. So, it goes back all the way to, me buying Pizza Loca pizza at Mulaney. What was that, 35 years ago or something like that? Probably longer than that. So yeah, it's almost a bit nostalgic as well to eat that when I'm there.
Yeah, that's excellent. What I didn't realise before this interview how much of an absolute lifer you are. Like that you're proper from the start. Know it. You're lining up on Christmas Eve. I've always been envious of
Yep.
that. I've never done that in the past. I can see the passion in you, and that you just like being here for what this place is. I hope one day I get the
Yeah, I
opportunity to
love
be able
just
to you cook and sit down and eat your food.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I just love being there on site. It's even just driving in there. To me, it's like, oh, I've come home. I can relax now. So I could just go there quite happily and not see any music and just camp on the grounds for a week, and I'll happily pay the fee for that. Because it's just, to me, it's something special about that particular piece of land and the history of it, and the energy that so many people have put into that place over these years. And I've seen the trees grow over 30 years from the trees that I helped plant all those years ago.
Yeah,
I've just seen
yeah.
them. I've watched them grow into massive trees. That's a special thing to see that place change over the years and become what it has, and for it to keep going. To be there, to still be there. My greatest fear is that one day it won't be. I want my girls love going there. I've got 4-year-old and 8-year-old, and they love it. And I
Yeah.
want them to be taking their kid. They want them to be taking their kids there. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I just
Well,
hope that it goes
I
forever.
promise. Yeah, it absolutely will. It's good,
Yeah,
Matt. It's going to go for 500 years. That's the plan. They've got the
great.
plan, so it's
Okay,
going to happen.
okay,
And
sweet.
any chance, just
That's
before
good.
I let you go, any chance that you can get the first offenders back together and maybe pop up on stage here at Woodford?
No, we tried that, and it was a terrible disaster, and we swore that we'd never do that ever again. Um, so yes, we played together on New Year's Eve in the year 2000, and we realised that we'd forgotten how to do it, and so yeah, we didn't go back there again. It's all over.
Well, look, Matt, with enough Coopers in your gut, you'll do anything. So I'll see if I can get up beside you during this
Okay,
festival.
done. All
Thanks
right,
heaps for
we'll see how
talking
we
to me,
go.
mate. It was a pleasure, mate. I'll
No
see you
worries.
around the festival.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks, mate. See you soon.
There you go. A guy passionate about food that's seasonal, passionate about food that's grown locally and grown the right way. Loved it, and passionate about this wonderful festival that he's been coming to every year since its start. I enjoyed getting to know him. He's going to be another mate. I'm just going to make everybody be my best friend. That's the end of the episode, and all I've got to do is tell you that we did it on Jinnabara country. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening, however you get it. Send it out to your friends. That would be great. We'd really enjoy that. It was produced by the people at Woodfordia Inc. Music by the East Pointers. Thank you so much. I'm your host, Harley Breen. That's the end for now, but there's more to come. Bye-bye.
Is Radio Woodford.